18 years at Oklahoma, a national champion, a 10-time Big 12 Coach of the Year. One of the great, really top 4 or 5 coaches last 25 years in college football. He'd be embarrassed by that because he's a humble guy. Bob Stoops, who's the newest member of the Big Noon kickoff team. Urban Meyer was here. He gone. Big shoes to fill, but that's why we went out and got Bob Stoops. It is great to see you. When your name came up, I don't know how far the negotiations were. And, they said, well, what do you make? And I said, well, I think Stoops should go into coaching still. I think he's got 10 years left to coach. And they said, he may work at Fox. And I thought, we're going to get Bob Stoops, so it's great to have you as part of the team.
I appreciate it, Colin. I'm really looking forward to Big Noon Saturday, working with the team, working here at Fox. It's been awesome. What a great team and what great camaraderie already. And but I'm a little concerned that they brought me on your show to argue about Baker Mayfield, and I don't think I'm the right guy for you to argue Baker Mayfield about.
No, he's going to do fine. By the way, he's going to do fine this year. It is interesting. We'll get into some of the Oklahoma when you were there. Put a lot of guys in the NFL. Similarly, they do it with Lincoln Riley, and a lot of times a legend leaves. Almost always, and you never find the replacement. It's almost a guarantee. You can never replace. Alabama's going to have their hands full. And then you guys get Lincoln Riley. And it almost felt like to me, because you were so selfless that you could have kept going, but you thought to yourself, I found the guy. This is perfect. That's what it felt like to me.
No, it's truly that way. I've always said I wasn't going to be a lifer. I wasn't going to coach till I wasn't going to coach till I was old. I guess I'm old, though. But in the end, I knew the right guy was there in all the right ways. Just the person, the man that he is, family man that he is, the leadership qualities, the way he connected with players. I just knew this was perfect, that I could step out, and it would have killed me to have hurt the program. But I knew if I could step out in they could continue on in the same manner and hopefully make improvements, that this is the right time. And I knew there was strong structure around them that was still remained in place.
Great AD, president.
Everything. Yeah. So that's why. And I just thought, I don't want to miss the right moment, and it was perfect. And Lincoln's doing a great job.
No, he's terrific. We bring him on all the time. Oklahoma's a top 5 program all time, top 3 probably right now. So Urban Meyer's going college to pro, and it's interesting because for years and years, a lot of the guys, Pete Carroll was in the NFL, went to college, back to the NFL. Tom Coughlin had even done some NFL position coaching. Urban had told me years ago, I don't even watch the NFL. Like Sunday it's film day. And so I think Urban's smart, curious, intellectual. He'll figure it out. You have been offered NFL jobs. You didn't take them. If from all the opportunities you've had, what does it take? Because some guys have worked, some haven't. College to pro, what would concern you? What would make you hopeful with Urban?
As much as anything, it's hard for me to speak of it since I'm no expert and I haven't coached in the NFL. So that part of it, you just got to take for what it is. But to me, it's the schedule, the length of the season, the length of preseason, keeping players healthy, managing all of that. You're going to surround yourself with great coaches at whatever level. They're going to help you win or not win. So no one does it by themselves in our game. But so to me, the biggest part would be to handle that length of a schedule, that many football games, and how to manage it.
20 games. That doesn't even count playoffs.
Reggie Bush and I were just talking in back here, part of our Big Noon Saturday team, and I said to me it'd be like maybe basketball. I'd be rotating players, counting how many snaps each guy has had midway through the year, who's had so many. Almost, like basketball does. You just use your entire roster. I know everyone does, but I mean even in the rotation of your normal downs is making sure we're keeping up with how long a guy's been on the field.
So I grew up with Oklahoma and Barry Switzer and literally 10 guys in the backfield and 1 receiver. It was a power program. And then Bob Stoops come in. And this is one of the things I've always admired about Saban. Saban just acknowledged, we got to spread it out. The game's changing. You did it before him. You literally were like, Oklahoma football was the running program in America with Nebraska. And you were like, at some point, all right, fellas, spread them out. Here we go. why were you so willing to adapt and evolve? Did you go to camps? Was it fear-based that I'm going to get overwhelmed here if I don't evolve?
You know what it was? When I first was hired at Oklahoma, I hired Mike Leach. And the primary reason I hired Mike Leach, he was working as the offensive coordinator with Hal Mumme at Kentucky. I'm the defensive coordinator at Florida. And the team that gave me the most problems and drove me crazy was Kentucky. They had the most first downs in the league. They had the most points, on and on and on. And so I called Hal Mumme because I knew I couldn't hire him. He wasn't going to leave his head coaching position. I said, hey, can Mike Leach run the offense and do the things you do at Kentucky? He said, absolutely. I just wanted to know, could he be that kind of leader? And Mike is. Mike's a leader. He has his own way of doing things. But anyway, so I hired Mike, and all he did is show Tim Couch's highlights when we were recruiting. We really didn't have any quality big-time quarterbacks on campus. So when Mike arrives, we get Josh Heupel, runner-up in the Heisman Trophy, and also a national champion quarterback. We get Jason White, most decorated player in Oklahoma history when you look at awards, and brought us to 2 national championship games. And Nate Hibble, who won us a Big 12 championship, and he's a Rose Bowl MVP. Those 3 guys came that year that I hired Mike Leach right off the start.
Isn't that funny? The coach who drove you crazy in the SEC is the guy you hired at Oklahoma because you couldn't stop him. Yeah. And by the way, it takes guts because Mike is his own guy. He's loves Pirates.
If I had known him, then maybe I wouldn't have. I'm kidding. I love Mike. He's awesome, and he was a great hire for me.
So Texas, this is interesting. So Oklahoma and Texas, top 3 rivalry in the sport, and they hired Steve Sarkisian. And I think he's going to work, and I think Bobby's going to work big. At USC, he had some personal issues that he's overcome, but he can recruit. He's got a good eye for personnel. He's young. He's got a good energy about when Sark walks in a room, there's a presence to him. Your thoughts on the task at Texas, because they don't have – I watched that draft. There's not a ton of Texas guys got drafted this year. Is it a huge rebuild, or are they close?
Well, I don't know why it would be a huge rebuild. They've had the top recruiting class the last 3 years in the Big 12, and it's been top 10 nationally. So they have players. Unlike when we walked in Oklahoma, I don't think that was the case. So bottom line, they have players. To me, it's about development. And I do believe, I agree with you. I think Steve Sarkisian's a really great coach. He's got a really great track record. And I believe he'll do really well. Hopefully just not as well as Oklahoma.
So Spencer Rattler, Joy last year is like, you got to watch this kid. And I watch a lot of Oklahoma games. So Spencer Rattler's the quarterback. And there's a big, people are suggesting he'd be the number 1 pick. Wouldn't surprise me. And it's funny because I think he's more naturally gifted than a Baker. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. And it works at Oklahoma. Because in the Big 12, there's a lot of points. You can throw the occasional pick. It's okay, right?
Well, now there's a lot of points in the SEC, too, now that there's some quarterbacks that are throwing the ball around.
So you've always poked the SEC in the ribs.
Well, I'm just saying, look at LSU a year ago or 2 years ago. Look at Alabama the last couple of years. When there's great quality quarterback play, it's hard to deal with.
So Spencer Rattler, if I'd never seen him play, what makes him special?
Great release, great arm. Just got one of those. He has the ability to throw the ball at any angle, and got a really quick release and very accurate.
How long did you guys recruit him there? I mean, was he good at 8th grade, 9th grade?
Well, he committed to OU when I was there.
Holy moly!
So he committed young. I want to say his sophomore or junior year. And then I stepped away, but of course Lincoln had the best relationship with him.
Yeah.
And of course he stayed with us, knowing Lincoln was going to be his guy and going to be his quarterback coach and head coach.
By the way, your son Drake's a receiver at Oklahoma. Do you miss the juice of game day?
Oh yeah, nothing in life, compares to that. People, you do as a coach, you get addicted to the the excitement of it, the intensity of it all. And the pressure of it, oddly, you love it, because you really know you're alive when you're pulling in that stadium or walking down that ramp, getting ready to kick it off, not knowing the outcome, So sure, you miss it. I don't know that you ever get used to it.
It's fun. One of the things I always respected about Oklahoma, you played Notre Dame. You're just thinking of the big games. You played Ohio State,
Alabama, Florida State, Miami.
You know,
we've been everywhere.
no shot at the SEC, but yeah, I can only see Citadel so many times on those schedules. You have always said, bring in the big dogs. By the way, that's not necessarily always great for you because everybody watches it. If it's week 1 or 2 and you lose, you got to build your way back up, voter confidence. So what was Bob Stoops' theory? USC, by the way, has always done that too. USC wants to schedule big games.
Sure.
What was your theory on that?
Once we won the national championship in 2000, I said to our athletic director, Joe Castiglione, look, if we're going to be a big dog, we're going to play other big dogs. I mean, we're not going to shy away from anybody, and we didn't. I think in 2003 on our out-of-conference schedule, we had Oregon and Alabama.
Yep.
So we were always willing to play big games, you know, home and away, you know, take our turns and never – again, we just felt that way. If you're going to be a ranked top 5, 10 ranked team, you're not afraid to go play anywhere, anytime.
By the way, it is funny. A lot of college coaches, they want to coach until, you know, they're on a golf cart and, you know, they can – you know, they got to be helped around campus. You left 10 miles early. Now you got a beautiful wife, great family, but it is interesting. You are rare. Most coaches – they stick around forever. What was it, do you think, in your DNA that you're like, I'm not going to be that guy?
Well, have always had other interests in life. And as much as anything, I appreciate and enjoy my own time. And with my family, with my friends, doing things I want to do. And in our profession, it's all consuming. And at a certain point, I figured, you know, I've loved what I've done. It couldn't have been better. I mean, I had so much fun. But it was just time to have my own time. And in life, I don't think until you open yourself up to other opportunities, you don't know what else is out there. So in the end, I miss it. Heck yeah. But do I regret it? No. You know, so it was just time for me. And I felt too, you know, after 18 years in one place, that I had run my course there, that it was just the perfect time for me to step away and let the program continue with Lincoln.
Now, Leinart and Reggie are very nice, but Notre Dame guys, Brady Quinn, you got to keep your eye on them. These Notre Dame guys, you got to just fire back at Brady. You know, the SC guys, LA guys are all laid back.
Yeah, they've been easy on me. So, but anyway, it's a great crew, you know,
great.
As you said, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Rob Stone keeping everybody in line. So I'm really excited about it and can't wait, for the fall.
So lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Great to see you again.
I appreciate it, Colin. Always good to be on with you.
All right.
Go Baker.
Baker's going to have a very – by the way, I picked the Browns to win the division.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
As Joey knows, people only hear the bad stuff. What happens when I say nice stuff? It just
disappears.
Very
supportive of them all year
disappears into the ether. Nobody hears it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.